Talk Radio's Rick Roberts.
The great Rick Roberts.
Keep on doing what you do, Rick. You're my favorite host.
I ain't gonna shut my mouth. Don't mind if I stand out in a crowd. Just wanna live out loud. Well, I know there's got to be a few 100 million more like me, just trying to keep it free. Yeah.
Rick Roberts starts right now on News Talk 820 AM 99.5 FM HD2 WBAP.
And good afternoon, 4:05 the time. I'm Rick Roberts. Glad you're along. Thank you so much for making us a part of your afternoon drive each and every day, Monday through Friday, 2 to 5. All right, I've got something kind of special for you. First, I'm going to let you enjoy a little bit of the audio from a video that I will tell you how to see in its entirety. Then I'm going to introduce you to two incredible individuals. Andrew Marr, former Special Forces Green Beret and CEO of Warrior Angels Foundation. I want you to remember that name, Warrior Angels Foundation. And then his brother, Adam Marr, former Army Apache helicopter pilot, co-founder of the Warrior Angels Foundation. And I'll tell you more about these two individuals, and really it's a story of brothers is what it is, and how they are reaching out to help others. In this time of politics, when he said, she said, you know, everybody's throwing daggers at everybody else. This is important. You know, I don't get involved in a lot of things like this. The last thing I was involved with was founding the Warrior Foundation out of San Diego, out of Babel Hospital. But I want you to hear from these two individuals personally. But first, listen to this.
My name is Andrew Marr, and I'm a former Special Forces Green Beret. My specialty was explosives, demolitions, and so that had me in and around countless explosions through the entirety of my career. What that resulted in was a medical retirement from what we now know were multiple traumatic brain injuries. The current military medical model for dealing with traumatic brain injury and post-traumatic stress is predicated on medication and psychotherapy. This did nothing to improve my life. I've talked to hundreds of veterans. I haven't found anybody that's been a good solution. And it doesn't work because it doesn't treat the underlying condition. It serves to mask symptoms, which in most cases further exacerbates the problem. The purpose of the Warrior Angels Foundation is to pinpoint and treat the underlying condition for service members and veterans who have incurred a traumatic brain injury in the line of duty. And since January of 2015, we've successfully helped over 100 veterans come back to life. I remember when we first started experiencing Special Forces operators committing suicide, and the first reaction that we had was one of what a coward. How could somebody do that? It was just kind of ignorance on my part, not fully grasping that. And it wasn't until I was at my most rock bottom, having panic attacks, anxiety attacks, being depressed, found myself on 13 different medications. I was alcoholic and contemplating suicide, that I thought, this is how it happens. I don't want to see one more child walk into the room and find their father, that's taken their own life. I don't want to see one more widow just collapse from the agony and heartache of having to view her husband's remains. We can stop that, and we are. It was like a lightning bolt struck. Okay, that's the path we're going to go on. We're going to figure out a way to offer up treatment that actually pinpoints and treats the underlying condition for traumatic brain injuries. And we're going to find a revolutionary process to do it without having to uproot people from their jobs, from their families, from their homes, from their geographical location. And we're also going to have to find a way to bring the best top world-class care to them. It was a bold thing to think, but that was what needed to be done. And that's exactly what the Warrior Angels Foundation is doing now. The reason people should care about Warrior Angels Foundation is we have a viable evidenced and scientifically backed solution that is working. We have over 1,300 documented cases through Dr. Gordon's Millennium TBI network, and over 100 of those have been veterans, just like myself, who are on a multitude of medications and who were told to accept the new life sentence that was put on them. And I'm here to tell you, you don't have to accept that new life sentence, and you can come back to life. And that's what we're doing for veterans everywhere. And what the science has shown is that there are neurosteroids, which are hormones that are produced in the brain. When the brain becomes deficient in these from any type of trauma, there is a decline in that person's quality of life. And so if we can replace or replenish those hormones in the brain, 100 out of 100 times, quality of life improves. What I love most about Warrior Angels Foundation is hearing the results that we get from our guys. Phrases like, I'm living again, my family loves me, I have a purpose, I've come off all my medications. So somebody that was gone from no quality of life to having a quality of life. That's the most rewarding thing to me and with the Warrior Angels Foundation. For those who want to get involved, they can come and visit us at our website, waftbi.org. We need your help, we need your support.
All right, 10 minutes after the 4 o'clock hour. The voices in that video belong to, as I say, Andrew Marr, former Special Forces Green Beret and CEO of Warrior Angels Foundation, and his brother, Adam Marr, former Army Apache helicopter pilot and co-founder of Warrior Angels Foundation. Guys, gentlemen, it's good to talk with you again. How are both of you?
Rick, this is Andrew. It's an absolute honor and a pleasure, sir, to be on. Thank you.
Adam, how are you doing?
Fantastic, Rick. Good to talk with you again. Good to be here.
The reason I wanted to set it up that way is because I want people to know what this entire organization is about. We're going to step aside for just a second, as we need to do and take a break. But when we come back, we want to walk the audience through this. Andrew, your story of recovery from numerous traumatic brain injuries while serving the country, and Adam also, as time allows, discuss what it was like to watch your brother go from an elite performer, and obviously he was, to not being able how to remember how to drive home. Two remarkable individuals with me, certainly patriots, and they have given to their country. I want you to hear their story. I want you to hear about this organization. I'm Rick Roberts, News Talk 820 WBAP. All right, 17 minutes after the hour, 4:17 the time. Thanks so much for making us a part of your afternoon drive. The Rick Roberts Show on News Talk 820 WBAP. With me is Andrew Marr, along with his brother, Adam Marr. Andrew's story of recovery from numerous traumatic brain injuries while serving his country. And, of course, Adam, his brother, what it was like to watch his brother go from an elite performer to not being able to remember how to drive home. And then culminating in the founding of the Warrior Angels Foundation, which, by the way, Warrior Angels is based in Dallas, Texas, founded by combat vets, run by combat veterans. Andrew, walk the audience through what you went through. And I know it's tough, but I think it's necessary.
Yeah, well, what happens is after a career of being in and around explosions, which is very much the life of a Special Forces operator, we know that the explosive blast wave from those explosions propagates things that cause the brain to jar around in the head, so to speak. And the difficult part about that, Rick, is the damning effects from that might not show up immediately. It could be days, weeks, months, even years later. So after my last deployment, I returned in September of 2013. I didn't start having any issues till December, January of that year. So almost 4 to 5 months later. And what happened was, again, going from being an elite Special Forces operator to very quickly having serious issues with libido, with energy, that spiraled into having then migraine headaches, double vision from blurry vision, balance issues. My heart rate would spike from sitting down at a normal level to jump up over 200 beats per minute just from standing up, so instantaneously due to parietal damage, parietal lobe damage in the brain. That led to other behavioral issues with panic attacks, anxiety attacks, overwhelming feelings of depression, bursts of crying, without any reason to necessarily be crying, and in public, and having no control over it, and then having situations turn into extreme bouts of anger and rage, which the situation just did not call for that response. And then, that then stem to problems with short-term memory, problems with language, problems with recall. And that was all over the course of 6 months. So very quickly it went from being my normal self to somebody that I no longer recognized after 6 months. Like the video said, I woke up one day, found myself on 13 medications. I was alcoholic. My wife was 9 months pregnant with our 5th child, and her request of me for the day was to please keep my drinking down in case she went to labor so she didn't have to drive herself to the hospital.
Wow.
That's when I realized that this has spiraled out of control, and the current treatment modalities that are being implemented, which was psychotherapy and medication, has done nothing to improve my quality of life or my family's quality of life. And so that's kind of that escalation there, Rick.
And, of course, this all stems from while operating as a Green Beret, you perform the duties of a breacher, which basically means you blow the doors off terrorists. That meant being exposed to blast in various forms, I guess, time and time again, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's not special or specific to me. That's what our operators are doing day in and day out. And to be proficient at that job, you not only do that when it's game day, you prepare to do that. So hundreds, if not thousands of times, I've been around real live blasts in close proximity to them.
Adam Marr is with me as well. He is co-founder of Warrior Angels Foundation, a former Army Apache helicopter pilot, and as I said, the co-founder. What was it like for you? You were deployed from 2010 to 2011, aviation platoon leader of Operation Iraqi Freedom and New Dawn, if I'm not mistaken. What was this like for you watching your brother go through this?
Yeah, Rick, you're exactly right. It was very tough and very difficult. As an aviator, this injury was not very common within our ranks. For Andrew's line of work, it was a lot more common. And so it wasn't incredibly real to me until someone like him was affected. You would see guys with talking about PTS and suicide, and your initial thought is, oh, come on, man, that's just some kind of cop-out. And unfortunately, that thought and that belief is very common throughout the ranks. Only when people like Andrew started getting affected and were coming forward and saying, hey, here's a guy who's been an elite performer since as long as I can remember. He's my older brother by 2 years. And so in classic younger brother methodology, I was always looking up to him my whole life. Suddenly, he goes from the pinnacle of his career as a Special Forces Green Beret, and now he's down in the trenches of despair. And so there was a lot of fear, a lot of uncertainty. It developed into anger and resentment. And again, that's what every friend and family member goes through that can relate to this injury, whether it be TBI or PTS. And I remember very specifically and very vividly when the full frontal brute force of what he was dealing with hit me, and I knew it was a serious issue. Because he's driving home from work and he calls me, oftentimes like he normally does, throughout our childhood and adulthood. And I answer the phone and I'm like, hey man, what's going on? How's it going? And I just hear, sobs from the other end of the phone. And that alarmed me that something was going on, because this is a guy that I haven't seen cry since I was probably 6 years old. This is a man's man. And I'm thinking, okay, is somebody hurt? Is there a family member injured? And he's so overwhelmed by the day-to-day life that he cannot drive from his place on post to his home 15 minutes away, a drive he's been making every day for the last 6 years, without stopping at the Class 6, which is where you can buy alcohol on post, so that he can try and quell the anxiety and every other myriad of list of ailments from this injury that he was dealing with. And so I knew that that's when we needed some real help and real action, and what he currently getting wasn't solving the problem.
All right, talking with Andrew Marr, also Adam Marr, the founders and co-founders of Warrior Angels Foundation. Gentlemen, if you'll sit with me, I think it's important for the audience to know how many other combat vets are going through this, even as we speak, and how you were able to find something that has literally changed their lives to the point where you created a foundation. So if both of you can stick around, I would appreciate it very, very much.
Yes, sir. We'll be here.
If you want to get more information on this, just after the bottom of the hour, I'll be telling you how to get more information. I'll give you a website, the full video, which I only played a portion of. This is the fact that foundations, I think back to the Warrior Foundation that I founded many, many years ago in San Diego, trying to fill a gap that the federal government should be filling for our combat vets. After all, we signed a contract with these people. They were willing to sacrifice it all if need be. They didn't want to. They wanted to come back to their families as well. Well, some came back, but left a lot behind. And these gentlemen have found a way to help a lot of these people when nothing else could. We'll tell you how that works next. 4:25 the time. Eric Bushman standing by in the WBAP newsroom. He'll bring you the very latest and breaking news. Also check that afternoon drive and that great-looking weather that's headed our way. Then right back, right here. Rick Roberts Show on News Talk 820 WBAP. Good afternoon, 4:32 the time. I'm Rick Roberts. This is News Talk 820 WBAP. Very pleased to have with me a couple of gentlemen that you're going to be hearing more from in the future. Andrew Marr, CEO, co-founder of Warrior Angels Foundation. Adam Marr, his brother, former Apache helicopter pilot. And, of course, we've been talking about traumatic brain injury and what it was like for these two brothers. Andrew, a former Special Forces Green Beret, and now the CEO of Warrior Angels Foundation. The organization's sole purpose is to stop the suffering and the deaths of veterans with traumatic brain injuries. It's one of those things that it's one thing to tell people what you went through. It's quite another to see it happening day in and day out to brothers in arms and those guys that were in combat. Let me ask you both that. By the way, the Warrior Angels Foundation is based out of Dallas, Texas. Andrew suffered numerous traumatic brain injuries, which resulted in his medical retirement. Once a very elite performer in life or death moments in war, at one point he couldn't even remember how to drive home from the post. He started struggling with trying to remember things, behavior, alcohol, all symptoms common with TBI. The conventional treatment he received from the VA simply didn't help, so the journey to a solution began, and now over 100 other combat vets have been treated. Gentlemen, I'm going to let you decide who wants to how was this treatment, first of all? How did you find something that actually worked, and with whom? And how did you reach out and touch those guys that were struggling with the same things, and how did you see them turn around?
Yeah, absolutely. We found things, Rick, because we refused to take the life sentence that was dealt to me and that was dealt to others. And it was basically, this is the new you, accept it. Accept these medications, accept not being able to remember anything, accept a lesser form of life. And we said, no, we don't accept it. And so we went out and we started to look at alternative means, just purely because I wanted to become off medication. That led me to the Dr. Mark Gordon out of Encino, California, the Millennium Health Centers. He's the director there, and he is the top neuroendocrinologist in the world. And he's been treating TBI successfully since 2004. He's a TBI survivor himself. And the important thing to note to the audience is we are not out to raise awareness. We're not out to cry about what's not working. We're providing a superior alternative solution to the status quo. And it's superior because it treats the underlying condition. And, Rick, we can do it. We can identify if a person is having these problems by doing an objective blood test to see if they're deficient or insufficient in important hormones that are produced in the brain called neurosteroids. And Adam, you want to talk about kind of what the effects of doing that the proper way, what that means to our population?
Yeah, exactly. Just as Andrew touched on, there's a lot of organizations out there that are out there raising awareness. We pride ourselves on saying we're not here to raise awareness. We're here to provide a solution. And it's evidence in our personal story and where Andrew was when he was at his lowest. He was a shell of the person that he used to be. He was robotic in his mannerisms. He became unsocial, and he could only focus on one thing at a time, often forgetting what he was talking about or the thought he was trying to carry out mid-sentence. And it was a scary thing to watch. And to see him where he's at today, and many of the listeners can probably agree that he sounds like an intelligent, articulate man. This was a guy who could barely complete a thought, 9-10 months ago. And so the results aren't specific to him. We've seen this in over 100 cases of veterans that we've treated since January of 2015. There's over 330,000 veteran service members that have been diagnosed with TBI since 2000 and 2015. That's just the service member. That's not talking about the friends and the family members that are going through this with them. So our charge to them is to take action, and you can do so at our website, waftbi.org. Through there, those that are suffering can apply for treatment. Those that want to take action and are tired of veterans just pounding their chest to raise awareness, you can help us take action. You can donate. And currently, Andrew is preparing. He's gone from being horribly down in the trenches, unable to do everything we've already talked about, and now he's training and preparing himself next month to compete at West Point, New York for the Department of Defense Warrior Games.
Oh, that's
incredible.
That's unbelievable. I urge you to get more information on traumatic brain injury, because not just the combat vet that we should be taking care of because we signed a contract to do so, and the treatment that's available just simply isn't working. And it's not working for hundreds, if not thousands, of combat vets. These two gentlemen, brothers, have found something that has been working and working well. As he said, the Warrior Angel Foundation has a solution. And the Warrior Angel Foundation provides free treatment for veterans who are suffering. But they only do that through public donations. So far, they've treated 100 veterans, 100 men who served this country and are no longer thinking of taking their own lives. So again, I would urge you, and Phil, let's get this up on our show website at the earliest possible moment. It's waftbi.org, and it'll be up on the BAP website under Rick Roberts, waftbi.org. You can find out what you can do in some tangible way to help. If you'd like to get more information, as I said, the Warrior Angels Foundation is based in Dallas, Texas, founded by these two gentlemen, combat vets, and run by combat vets. And, besides, this is amazing. You went from spiraling downward and not much hope to finding something that worked to now getting ready to compete in some games. You got to be pretty jazzed about that.
I am, but what I'm most jazzed about, Rick, is the results that we see from treating our patient population correctly. And those results are men and women coming back to life, being able to be a husband, to be a father, to be a citizen, to go back to work, and to contribute positively in the civil sector. So we don't need a job fair. We don't need all these other things. We need to give these men and women the ability to think correctly and clearly again, and their leadership experience will take over, and they will do immense and wonderful things in the civil sector as representative of what we're doing with the foundation. So, it's just amazing to be on there, Rick.
Hey, well, listen, we're going to have you on again. I've already started getting calls into Phil, my producer, with questions and trying to get more information. But go to if you're driving, it is Afternoon Drive, and of course it's we reach a lot further than just Dallas Fort Worth. We've got listeners in North Carolina and California and all over the place. So if you want more information, I'd urge you to simply go and get more information. Again, the website, gentlemen, you want to give that?
Yeah, waftbi.org. And the beautiful thing is with our treatment protocols, there is no waiting line. There is no doctor's office. We've streamlined the process to bring world-class care to the veteran where they're at, their geographical location. And you guys have to do your due diligence on the website to get more information there, but it is worth the read, I promise you.
And you know what? Not in just some tangible way. If someone wants to help out a vet, that's fine. You can do that there. But also you can get behind different bills, and we don't have time to go into that. But there is a bill that both these gentlemen, Andrew and Adam Marr, would like you to get behind and support. Again, WAFTBI. WAFTBI.org. Andrew Marr, Adam Marr, first and foremost, thank you for the service to your country and all of us. If you know me at all, you know I'm not blowing smoke when I say that. And I look forward to talking with you again, and enjoyed the time we had to talk off the air as well. Gentlemen, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Rick.
Rick, thank you very much. It's been incredible.